Welcome back to Morning Line, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We are talking transportation plan in Metro. It's in the works. Let's move Nashville. With us this morning is Metro Transportation Authority board member Walter Searcy. Good to have him on, along with Felix Casrodad. He's with the MTA, talking through the details of the mayor's plan, which was announced last week. Let's go to Brian, see what he thinks. Brian, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, Brian.
Let me get this straight. Is they plan on putting this thing underground?
Just one portion of it.
1.8 miles.
1.8 miles in a busy corridor.
All the work it takes to put it underground. Because you were talking about it being above ground. Above ground sounds like the best idea and the best option would be. And one other thing, Nick, before I get off here, all the buses I see run through, I live out here in Dawson, most of them are empty during the daytime. It's carrying very few passengers. How's that going to be feasible? And what's it going to cost to ride this thing? And I'll be gone.
Fair enough. Good questions. You guys want to touch bases on what's above ground, what's down, and the costs?
Well, you know, the only portion, as Walter was saying, that is below ground is going to be the tunnel, which is about 1.8 miles, and that's at the very core of the system in downtown, where it's the most problematic point, and for anybody, and given all the things that we talked before and how difficult it is to get through that. I want to touch real quick on the comment about the buses being empty. The reality, it's a perception that when you run a bus route, that bus is going to go through several places for a long time. So if you watch a bus at the peak time getting to downtown, it's going to be full. If you see it go there at 4:30 in the afternoon, you see it leaving, it's going to be full. As they continue to go through a route, people get on or people get off. But we buy our buses for that capacity. So if you go to a road at 2 in the morning, it's empty, but you look at it at 7:30 in the morning, it's packed, and you don't eliminate that road just because at 2 in the morning it's empty. So it's the same thing with the buses. Sometimes, you get, periods where more people are riding than not. So that's why, we have to be able to accommodate that. But I think one of the things that this plan is going to be able to do as well is to give more options for not just transit, for people that walk, for people that bike, people that may not be directly on a bus line, and they may be in areas where it's not feasible to have a 40-foot bus to meander around a low-density neighborhood. It's going to have, what we call mobility on demand. People are going to be able to get request a ride to connect them from where they are to a bus line, for example. They complete their trip that way. So that's what we call addressing the first and last mile. How do you get to your bus station or stop? And then once you get off, how do you get to your final destination if a bus doesn't go directly there? So, I mean, this is it's a mobility is comprehensive enough to try to address the different needs that people have in trying to move around.
Yeah, and as far as costs, and I don't know if you can think that far ahead, but for a lot of people, I mean, taking public transit, if it's reliable, and I agree with you completely on that, the convenience is a biggie, but also they're going to need to be convinced that it's about the same as it would be maybe for them in using cars to commute and pay for gas.
Or less.
Or less. Do you think it'll be in that realm? Because aside from, you're no doubt going to save a lot of money on parking. So that goes without saying. But some people, their employers here at Channel 5, I've got free parking in the back. So what about cost? Have you guys played with any of those numbers, Walter, about how much it might take to get a pass for a light rail for a month or anything like that?
And not only have we been looking at the numbers, but we also look at the demography and try to match what fare schedules fit what kinds of pocketbooks. So students, for example, don't pay. People at certain income levels
will have
a
pass to ride for free.
Yes.
Okay.
The no longer charge for transfers. And as we have more crosstown routes, even the necessity for transfer is minimized or is lessened. There is real concentrated review of how this process, not just the construction of it, not the rails and nuts and bolts of it, but how it impacts the lives, the everyday lives of the persons who are likely to be in the system impacted by the system, thinking about not in the system currently, but thinking about transitioning from what they currently are doing to get to and fro to these new options that we're trying to provide them. And so it's going to be a cultural shift.
Oh yeah, because you're not talking about building this baby for the folks who are already using public transit. Of course, they're going to use it and benefit from it. This is about building for the thousands and thousands of people right now that are driving who will maybe opt to take public transit at least maybe 2 or 3 days a week. But that's for everyone who's not using public transit right now.
And we already have more and more young people, millennials and others, who are opting for the no car option.
Will there be a weird place you can hook your bike on the...
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, they're there now.
I mean, I guess there are some on the buses now where you can bring your bike on, right?
Yes, we have
and the train, but we'd be able to do that on the light rail?
Yes,
So bring your bike and then
you can, yep. And you know, if you look at the forecast for demographics in Davidson County, you know, our population is going to get, you know, younger and older, which is our people that, you know, younger generations are embracing transit more, and older people are, you know, they can't drive, or they want to.
I was just thinking about my parents. You're exactly right. They can't drive anymore, but they can take a bus.
Right.
We can't drive.
And, you know, you look at baby boomers, for example, that are beginning to retire. Believe it or not, many of them are choosing to maybe downsize, getting out of the suburbs, relocating closer to services, not living in a house, you know, big house for just 2 people, and being able to maybe, you know, live with just 1 car and enjoy amenities, you know, in a more frequent basis. So those are markets that are happening, the trends that we're seeing, and we have to be able to cater to those populations as well.
Let's take a call from Grady. Hi, Grady.
Good morning, Dick. Good to see Walter Search is still hanging around. You know, we're talking about growth. We're talking about rents that are going out of the way now. You know, for a 2-bedroom house renting for $1,500. You know, we got more problems than just our transportation. We need to stop selling Nashville, I think. You know, I mean, if we're trying to run everybody out of Davidson County, I can live with it. But, you know, that's what it's coming to, and I ain't got to listen to your comments.
Grady, that's a great commentary, and I'm so glad that you raised it, because we see this transportation build out is symbiotic with creating greater opportunity for affordable housing expansion in this county. You're absolutely right. The price point of living in Metro Nashville is driving natives away into the surrounding counties. It is, we can't continue to allow that to occur. Fortunately, we are building this system with the idea that affordable housing has to be inextricably interwoven in the process. And so that transportation development districts that parallel the corridors will, first of all, allow for expansion of affordable housing, minimize the speculation that goes along with raw, unbridled development. And thirdly, it provides job opportunities. This thing is going to be the biggest jobs bill in the last 30 years in Metro Nashville, in terms of apprenticeships, in terms of once it's built, the operation of it, the maintenance of it. There are going to be significant opportunities that flow from this, and we hope that we can reverse the patterns that we're plagued with now in terms of how expensive it is to live and work in Metro Nashville.
So you're saying it will allow, by shooting out into these areas, and I imagine a lot of the merchants and business people downtown like this idea, because right now if you want to work, and a lot of it's service industry stuff, you can make a decent wage on there, but you're not going to make money enough to live in the city. So these folks have to deal with commuting in here, where they're going to park, how they're going to get there. So I'm just trying to make the connection. I see where you're going on this, Walter, but it's like, how will this create more affordable housing? Because I think if this gets built, it'll make this city all the more attractive, and more people are going to want to come here. And I just wonder about some of these folks that are on more of a fixed income, hoping to still stay in Davidson County.
It has to be intentional, Nick.
Okay, so you're going to have to earmark stuff.
It has to be intentional.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, we'll talk more about that. Take more of your phone calls, because that's, I guess, yeah, it's going to have to be set aside. The number is 737-7587. We got one more segment with our guests. We'll be back right after this. So intent.